I asked 100 developers and PMs how they build their software. Here's the results. I recently ran a survey asking people how they and their teams build software. I've compiled a summary of the results below. So I wonder what he means by building a software, how architectural, product-wise it's going to be, technical, interesting. Let's see what are going to be the results. But first, I'd like to say a huge thanks to everyone who took the time to complete it. Why I did this? Yeah, that's a good question. What do you mean exactly by how they build the software? Is it the global direction of the company, the architectural choices? Or are you listening to customers? Are you building it based on customer requirements? Let's see. Why I did this? I'm currently building Shaped, a lightweight product development planner and tracker. Okay, so this explains this. He wants to build the software that would assist product managers to develop and track the software building. Okay, so in this case, he needs to focus probably more on product and see what are their requirements if he's building a software for product. So I'm currently building Shaped, a lightweight product development planner and tracker for startups and small teams. I wanted to learn a little more about how teams approach software development today and where they are facing challenges. So I have to say that my general point of view is that sometimes there are good tools, right? Sometimes there are good tools that help you do the job, but there is a tendency to employ too many tools, while there are some basic tools. So let's take, for example, all the documentation styles that there are. So there are the standard Office documentation, there is the Google Docs, there is Notion, and there is Wiki, and there is a GitHub if you have your own, and there are just standard files. So the amount of tools can create a mess because then it's hard to know where is the documentation, not to mention all the messaging applications. So there must be a very good reason to employ a new product. It should really help you. Otherwise, you might just do the planning on a plain Excel. I think this is totally acceptable, and Excel is underrated and can solve many problems. Okay, so who took the survey? The survey was completed by just shy of 100 people, and here we see the division of who took the survey. We see that we have some architects, product owners, not so much, but this is a tool for product. Scrum Master, product managers, some Agile coach, some product owner. What's the difference? Developers are taking here a good chunk. Senior managers are also taking here a good chunk of the portion. What is this huge portion? Product manager. Again, interesting. So we have, so there is here a division in between the product owner and product managers. Do we see here also product owner, and product managers. Okay. So I take it from this tool is mainly for product manager. Okay, so I think the difference in between product manager and product owner is like the internal Scrum syntax, the syntax of Scrum, where you have product owner and then you have also the legacy product manager, which is this one. Okay, so let's see. Most work in larger companies of more than 100 employees, but I saw that in the beginning, this product is aimed to startups, which is not my target market. Yeah. But there is some interesting data nonetheless. Okay. How many employees work in your company? We see here more than 100. Close to 40%. Okay, I took the opportunity to find out where teams are working and was a little surprised to discover that the majority are still working remotely or hybridly. Is that a word? Yeah, I think most companies today, the high-tech, are some kind of a hybrid. This can change in the future. This can fluctuate. There was this spike in hybrid and now some kind in the middle. I had assumed the large companies at least had started to head back into the office. Yes, that's correct. Not totally, somewhere in the middle. Where does your team work? Remote home. Okay. Hybrid. Office. Oh, so little in the office. Okay. A question I wish I had. Okay, what about the data? What about the results? I'm curious. A question I wished I had asked was, where in the world the company was located? It would have been interesting to see if there was any correlation between that and the remote hybrid office work. Yes, pretty interesting. Anyway, we have an idea of who the teams are onto the meat of the survey. How teams plan and develop a software. Development planning process. So usually it's interesting, this development planning process. It should come from a streamline of multiple sources. As I see it, some is coming from the customers, some is coming from the company, from the business units as they see more needs, some kind from underlying, from developers of some kind, from product, then see the whole picture, predict where the world is going, and then produce the output, of course, in small steps, not in big, huge bulks, small steps of progress. This is the general plan as I see it. Development planning process. Also, there was a huge disturbance with the Scrum, because before there was really a planning with the major design documents where you saw the whole product in front of your eyes and the document, and you can see exactly what is going to happen. Today that is less the case. While there are still design documents, they are not similar to what I've seen something like 20 years ago, where you could eventually come to an exact document that described it. There are pros to it, there are cons to it. I'm on the camp that says measure multiple times and cut once. Meaning, have the document describe everything and the coding should come afterwards, even if it seems that taking the time to design consumes a lot of time. This is not wasted time. This is time that it takes to think about the product and the architecture. Development planning process. When it comes to planning what will be worked on by the development teams, most companies are using feature roadmaps. Makes sense. And it's not just the big companies doing this. Yes, you can see a fairly even spread among company sizes. So what planning process do you use? Feature roadmaps. Yeah, we see almost all of them with a good distribution. Prioritize backlog. Yeah, huge chunks. OKRs. OKRs are those metrics initiated by Google, where you describe a metric and then you try to proceed into this metric. You say, I want to get to 90%, and then you proceed into this metric. Team outcome based roadmaps, combination, now, next, later, no formal planning, and Gantt charts. Okay, so we see that the more we get into less organized work, the less frequent it is. Makes sense. Okay, so feature roadmaps are the most popular technique. They can be seen as a little old-fashioned in this day and age, but leaders and stakeholders have a hard time letting them go, as it gives them a sense of clarity and control. The biggest flaw in feature roadmaps is that they assume that the feature being planned is the right feature to build. And not necessarily. You could, during I think the feature roadmap, discuss it and see that it's not the right feature to build and replace it, and it's going to be with much less cost than after it was built. They lock teams into building solutions that aren't going to work. So yeah, after you distributed this feature and you started working it, you should still take into account that you might find out that this feature is a waste, and this is where Agile comes into play. So it can be a good combination. You start with the feature roadmap. You start with the global, with a very detailed design. And when you get the whole picture and you start developing, there is still room for Agile. So there is still room for these ones once we started development and etc. Of course, the major part would be to try. It's not always possible. In many cases, it's not possible, especially in infrastructure projects where you have to build the whole thing in order to get it out. Right, so sometimes it's possible when building small features, even big features, then you can split them. Feature roadmaps are protocol, wasted effort. Okay, let's see. This was highlighted. Team outcome-based roadmaps came in fourth. Yeah. This is similar to planning techniques to feature roadmaps, but instead of planning feature to build, the business will plan outcomes to achieve. Okay. This subtle shift means that development teams are not being committed to specific feature, but outcomes to hit. Okay. And the ownership moves to the teams to discover, to build the right solution. This is interesting. The concept of outcome-based roadmaps are not dissimilar to OKRs, which is the same fundamental idea. Yeah, you define a target and then you do what's needed to get there. It's not like a specific team focusing on a specific feature, but with more structure. The concept of outcome-based roadmaps are not dissimilar to OKRs. Yeah. When it comes to startups, I typically advise that the now, next, later is a good framework for planning. Startups are typically changing direction a lot. Yeah. Yeah, but there is still room, I would say, for also the top one. As they learn new things and discover new opportunities, so restricting planning to what is happening now, what are they going to do next, and what things they might do later is a helpful way to focus their limited resources. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds fair enough. How far ahead does your company plan? Quarterly, most of them. Yearly, with a good chunk of all of them. Yearly, less. So most of them go to quarterly, then yearly, then other areas. 5 years. So most companies plan ahead in quarters. This is sensible time frame that gives teams time to get stuck into chunky problems and deliver meaningful outcomes. I'm a little concerned about the one company, that plans ahead for the next 5 years, though I think it's okay, actually. I think it's even good to have like the general plan and go with it, especially for things that could affect the company for years and years to come. It's good to have this. On a scale of 1 to 5, how successfully does your company plan ahead? Most of them 3 we see here. We see that in general it's repeating. The distribution of the whole companies is quite repeating. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're a small company, large company, as he said. Not that much. In terms of satisfaction with their planning, it's fairly evenly spread over the different company sizes, though companies with 2 to 10 employees seems to have an advantage. At this stage of the company life, planning tends to be a simpler affair. There was no particular correlation between satisfaction and planning technique or how far ahead the planning was done. Is that it? No. When it comes to development process, teams use Scrum is by far the most popular methodology. We know this. We all know this. Mixture comes next, which is where teams use a mix of different techniques for their specific needs. Interestingly, the third most popular process was not to have a process at all. I can't see how that works for larger companies, for sure. ShapeUp, this can work if the larger company is really spread into really individual teams and each team can move forward. It's like if the big company behaves like 10,000 small companies. So each company moves alone. Maybe they do their own next tasks and they get the needs. There should be some coordination, of course, but this can assist the process of gigantic planning. After all, the whole world, we can think of the whole world as one big company, right? So we don't do a design document for the whole world, right? No. The reason we don't do this is because the whole world is behaving as smaller companies. So it's working for the whole world. Interestingly, the third most popular process was not to have a process at all. ShapeUp is relatively new methodology that comes from the TeamHub Basecamp. I really like Basecamp. I never used it, but all that I read about it was really great. It comes also from the authors of Ruby on Rails. Specifically, I'm less happy about dynamic languages and Ruby on Rails, but you can't it's a great and brilliant product. Okay, most popular, successful. It's a process that I'm excited about and I think works very well. Ruby on Rails is just amazing. I don't use it, but it is amazing. And I think works very well for startup teams, and also Basecamp is a great one. Indeed, my product Shaped supports ShapeUp out of the box. So what is this? How long are your development cycles? So we see here what's the most. We work just in time. Sounds good. I like this. 2 weeks. Yeah, most of the sprints are 2 weeks. No real surprise here. Most teams work in 2 week cycles. Development track. I have to say that this is quite a good overview, this article of the whole of what's going on. It's affirming, if you work in this industry, it will affirm what you already saw, but this is going to a good direction, I think. Development tracking tools. What tools do you use for development process? Jira? Oh, almost everyone, right? Yeah, it's a good one. Spreadsheets, yes, I agree here. Spreadsheets are great. I really like them. GitHub issues, yes. I mean, you can dump there all the things, but hard then to manage it. So this is good to manage the things, and this I would say even better to manage the planning. Notion we see here, ClearUp, Miro, GitLab, Adro, I don't know. So yeah, Jira is a software everyone loves to hate, but they all use it in anyway. With Trello coming forth, it's fair to say Atlassian have concerned a very good chunk of the market. What was more surprising is how many people use spreadsheets. I should note, however, that people were able to select multiple answers for this question. So this is not saying that some teams use spreadsheet as their sole software tool for planning and tracking. So there you have it. It's a snapshot of 100 or so companies and how they are currently developing software. I hope that you find it. Yes, it was quite interesting. Let me know in the comments. About me, I'm James. I'm a startup product coach with previous experience with product. Various I realized that current tools for planning and tracking product, I think it's going to be interesting what it comes with. Up with Shaped, super lightweight product management tools for startups. Interesting. Let's have a look at this. Shaped. Ship meaningfully work consistently. Yeah. What I'm seeing here is tool to organize tasks so far, yeah, how many days left, the names of the people, is it a feature? It looks clean. Simple product manager. Okay, interesting product. Yeah. Deliver outcomes, not outputs. Track tasks. Let's see, track tasks. Perfect. Shaped is designed to manage the shape-up development process. Plan your upcoming project. Simple now, next, later. So we said it's mainly focused to startups, and from the article we saw that startups likes this. Now, next, later roadmaps that are easy to manage. Yeah. Deliver outcomes, not outputs. Create easy one-pagers for your... Okay, so maybe it's embedded inside the Shaped. The one-pagers, that this mini design documents, information they need to deliver. Yes, that this could be interesting. Track task issues, progress. Simple task working, hill charts, visualize, and progress. Yes, I think this has a place. If you are able to embed the design inside the tasks, ship faster, then this has a place. I would still consider using standard tools, maybe embed document in general, but this is interesting. Yes. So this was the article of named. I asked 100 developers, PMs, how they build software, and here was the results.